Hi, this is Tessa from Tales from Outside the Classroom, and today I'm going to be giving you a quick introduction to Google Classroom. So first, we're going to start from within Google Classroom. If it's your first time coming here, you'll want to click on the waffle to go to the Google Apps, and if you don't see Classroom on top, keep scrolling, and you can click More from Google to get here. When you first come in, if this is your first time, this will be a blank screen. To add a class for the first time, you click the plus sign and then click Create Class. Now, in order for you to use Classroom at school with your students, your school needs to subscribe to G Suite for Education, and more information can be found in Google about that. So I'm not creating a class right now, but when I created it for my work here, I just clicked the I've read and understand the above notice, and I'm going to go back. So right now I have 0 students inside my class because this is not the one I actually use with my students, but I will walk through getting started with that. So my class is open, and now I'm going to go to my settings. And from within here, I can fill out general information. I have an assigned class code that students can use to sign up with. I can determine what my stream looks like, so only teachers can post, only students, or both of us can. I can request that classwork be condensed in the stream, meaning it doesn't have a comment box and doesn't take up as much space. I can enable teachers being able to see deleted items. There are also grading features as part of Google Classroom. So from within here, you can have an overall grade calculation displayed to students and have Classroom do an overall grade calculation. If you don't do 90% or a large bulk of your assignments from within Classroom, this isn't needed. So if you're using this as an introduction, I wouldn't worry about the grading settings at all for now. So here I am within my class, and the first thing I need to do is to add students. So I'm going to come over here to people, and there are a few different ways you can do this. So students can sign in using the class code. So if you are still with your students, this is not a bad way to take care of it, but you can also click here to invite students. Now, when I use this with my school account, this is pretty simple to do because I start typing in the student's name and it auto-generates because their email address is part of my contacts. And this only takes me about 3 minutes to do the first time. If this is the first time you're doing it and you don't have email accounts within your system set up, it might take a little bit longer to set them up this way. As I said, your students can also add the class code. And they do that just by signing in, and then it asks them for that class code. Your entire student list will get displayed here. You can also have co-teachers. So these are people who can also post to your class stream. They can post assignments. If you have a co-teacher or the resource teacher works with some of your students, this is helpful, especially for e-learning, because those teachers can post their assignments and have them sent out to only the students that need access to. So something to note, teachers you add can do everything you can except delete the class because you are the main controller of the class. So you just type in, again, that person's name or email, and they get the invite by email. So once you have your students set up, you are ready to get started. So the main page is the stream. You can customize the stream or customize the page theme. So I'm going to change mine to this more teal color, and it just changes the color here. It doesn't change a whole lot, and it changes some of the accent colors. You can also upload your own photo if you would like. Because classwork has assignment dates on it, this will automatically generate with upcoming assignments that are due. So this is helpful if you're doing a lot of online learning because students can keep track of their assignments and their due dates. So let's go ahead and get started with adding something for our class. So I'm going to go ahead and click in the box, And this is where I can post just something I want everybody to see, like an announcement. If I have several classes within Classroom, this will drop down and allow me to choose which class I want to post it to. That's just a nice way of toggling in between or making sure I'm posting the right assignment to the right group of students. And this dropdown allows me to go through and select or unselect individual students. So if you are doing a literature circle or something where you're differentiating the assignment for different students, this makes it easy for them to see because you unselect the students you don't want to be able to view that assignment. Again, this is really good if you have a co-teacher who will be logging in and sharing assignments with only their students. So you can post a general announcement here. So I just have a general welcome, and I can click here to go ahead and post this right away. In this dropdown, it also gives me additional settings. So post, again, is just post right now. Save draft is for another time, and this is schedule. Schedule is really helpful if you're doing a bulk of online learning or if you follow a general routine, because you can batch out what your posts are going to be and have them scheduled to come out a specific time every day. So for example, I'm going to be doing e-learning for the next few weeks. So I can have every day at 8:30 a specific post go out that I want my students to comment through during the day and not worry about having to make sure I'm coming through and manually doing that each day. This allows me to add things. So I'm going to click that to show you those options. So you can add a general YouTube link. So this might be a YouTube video from you. This might be a YouTube video of an author reading a book, anything like that. I could also add a link to a general website. So if I wanted to send people to a specific website, I can put that link in here now and click add a link. And then it shows that link below. So right now it's just loading the preview here, and I'm going to come back to add some other options here. I can link to a specific file. So this gives me everything inside my Google Drive, so I can quickly link to something here. I'm also able to upload. So when you select that option to add a file, it defaults to doing an upload because there's also an add using Google Drive right here. So this is right next to it. So if you clicked the wrong one, you're able to kind of quickly go back and choose something else. So I'm going to kind of quickly scroll through here and go ahead and choose this as something I'm going to add. So you can see I have more than one item here, and having more than one item here means I can add several things for my students from within one individual post. So this is a link to go to that website, and this is a specific file. So I'm going to go ahead and post these so you can see what these look like on the general stream. So now that they've been posted, both of these have posted separately that students can click on to access. Because this is a PowerPoint, it will open itself that way, whereas clicking this link will open in a new tab directing students to that website. So if you are using this for an assignment, this is really helpful because you can direct students to a specific place to access things, and you can give them something like a text to read as well. So if you're doing a web quest or an independent learning activity, they can go to the website to read more about pandas, for example, on that website, or watch a video of a live stream of pandas at the zoo. Well, this link is a link to a text about pandas. So you're able to group like things together, which helps keep your stream from getting too busy. Another thing I like to do here is to really work with the writing on Classroom. So one of the nice ways I'm able to do that is by adding something straight from Google Drive as an assignment. And I'm going to scroll down and try to see if I can find a doc real quick that is easy to give as a demonstration. I'm going to go ahead and use this one because this is actually a file I have used in the past. So if I just add it here, and it creates a link for my students to access, everybody's accessing the same version of the file. So Something like this is not ideal if you want students to be able to actually write on it. So while I can do that here, this is not the ideal way. So I'm going to cancel this to show you the better way. So instead of posting my assignments from the stream, I come over to classwork. And when I click on classwork, I go to create. And from here, I have additional options. So I can create an assignment, I can create a quiz, I can create a question, material, or reuse an old post. So I'm going to go to assignment. And from here, I can add or create something. So I'm going to show you those options. So this is just the digital journals I just had accessed, and I'm going to click add from Google Drive. I'm going to go find that same file I just had grabbed a second ago. Here it is. And then this is where the Google Classroom magic happens. Instead of leaving this as students can view file, I have two other options as well. Students can edit file means each of the students would be typing on the same document, which is what I don't want. Instead, I can make a copy for each student. This creates a copy in each student's Google Drive. They can access this file from within Classroom, or they can access it from within their drive. So for these digital journals, every slide is a different journal that I use throughout the year, throughout the week. So students come in and type on a new slide each time we access it. So I want everybody to have their own copy. On the sidebar here are a few different options. So again, I can change this so it doesn't go to every student. I can, especially if I'm going to grade within Classroom, I can change the amount of points I'm going to grade it out of. I can choose a specific due date so students see that due date, especially on their sidebar that I showed you before. I can fit it within a specific topic within my classroom, and I also can create and use a rubric. Creating a rubric from within Classroom is kind of an in-depth process that I will maybe do a video on later, but here's a quick look at what that looks like. I'm going to discard that and come back over here and talk to you about some more of the options here. So I'm going to click on create here. So if this is the first time if what I'm sharing with my students doesn't need to have anything on the screen, instead of clicking add, I can come to create a blank something else. So what all this is doing is creating a blank document. So if I wanted my students to type on a blank document, instead of having to have something already displayed, I can just click that. It starts with something blank. I title it. I can write directions here if I would like. And then every student will see these directions, and that is what is included right here. Now, again, I would want to make a copy for each student. As you can see, it's refreshing as I am working through it. If I were to click it again, you see, even though it hasn't quite updated on that screen, it is that same file that I had worked on. So this creates a copy for each student that they can access and type right on. So this is super helpful if students are doing online learning. So I just click assign, and it goes out to all of the students. So this is taking a second, and you need to be patient as it's working. Now I can see that it has been assigned because it is right here. Another nice thing about Classroom is it's so easy to access your students' work. So I click the assignment I want to look at, I click view assignment, and because I have no students in this class, it doesn't show me. But in a classroom full of students, every student's file is right here. So if you want to grade it, you just quickly come in, double click to open their work, and then you can take a closer look at the work that they are doing. You also can quickly go back to the instructions and add a general comment for students to see. I'm going to go ahead and exit out and go back to the main page of my classroom and go over just a couple other things. So in the initial settings, I did say I wanted my assignments to be condensed. So that's why this one looks a little bit smaller than, say, this box, because I do have this one condensed here where it doesn't look like the students can add comments. though, if they click on it, that they can. Looking at classwork, I want to show you a couple other features. Right in the classwork tab, if I click on Class Drive folder, it takes me to the classroom drive file that got created within my Google Drive automatically by creating classwork. So everything that is posted here is automatically posted here in its own folder. So the original is in here as a template, and every student's document is also in here. So if I am working from home or something else, I can quickly go into my drive and access every student's work. I do most of my work from within Classroom, but it is nice to be able to access it on the drive here as well. I'm going to go through a couple other of these items. So a quiz assignment is created pretty much just like another assignment is made. However, it automatically generates a blank Google Forms quiz. So I can click a quiz assignment, click here, and then start working on customizing this quiz for my students. I have a video tutorial on using Google Forms, especially for quizzes, and I will link that video as well. If you are new to Forms, it'll help you get started on using this as a quiz. Just like other assignments, it's pretty self-explanatory with what they have at the side, and they do remind you about using that rubric. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here and go to the next option, a question. So a question just post in the feed. I'm going to show you that option here. So what is your favorite color? You can change it to a short answer or a multiple choice. So I can do red, do yellow, green, or blue. I can, once again, attach something here. So if I wanted to give students a link to a site to read something, ask them a question based on it, they can automatically choose an answer here in response to the question. So one of the ways that I have used this is by telling my students to work on their spelling words on Spelling City by playing a game, and then I can put all of the games here and they choose which game they played. When I click ask, this again goes into my student stream so they see it here. So what is your favorite color? They click here and then they click on their answer, and you can see their responses from right within here. Coming back to classwork, just show you another option. You also can share material. If I'm sharing material, I always share it as an assignment. So I myself don't use this material tab and I don't quite understand the ins and outs, other than I think it's just an easy way to share a file with students. And reuse post allows you to access a post you've already posted and repost it. So if you are working with several classes, especially if you're like a middle school or a high school content area teacher, you can quickly post the same question for your first, second, third, and fourth period classes by coming in and reusing a post. It makes it kind of just a little quicker and simpler. So the last area I want to show you is grades. Because I don't have any students, there's not a whole lot to see here. But if you are using Google Classroom to share files with students, you can grade right within Classroom. And when you do that, the students' grades are displayed here, and then they're able to see their grades right within here. This is probably something geared more towards older students, especially middle and high, where they really are responsible for doing their online learning independently, and you want them to see how they're doing all along the way. I don't myself use this with my third graders too much, though I do grade some of their things here. So this is a super quick introduction to Google Classroom and using it with your students. I hope I have shown you everything you need to get started with it right away. If you have a question or a feature you would like to take a closer look at, please leave me a comment and I am happy to do a video walking you through that specific item in a little bit more detail. Good luck in your work.